It's a case that cast an eerie shadow on a building in Chadwick. The 2015 beating death of teenage boy Lucas Leonard, with his brother Christopher being beaten close to death. Well, 4 years later, an author has penned a book about the killing of Lucas Leonard by 9 members of the Word of Life Church. In May, the Chadwick's church was sold to CEM Realty in New Hartford for $125,000. People who are featured in the new book will take your questions tonight during a special book signing event, and that's happening at Barnes & Noble. Some of those people include the sister of the victims and an investigator with the Oneida County District Attorney's Office. You can go and pick up a copy of the book, get it signed. Again, 9 people convicted in the 2015 beating death of Lucas Leonard, including his own father, mother, and sister. Joining us live in studio, Anthony Sokolowski, who was an intern with the Oneida County District Attorney's Office as this case was being investigated and prosecuted. What was it like being in the District Attorney's Office during that time?
It was overwhelming to start with, just because coming in as an intern, they kind of tell you they don't really have too much to do for you, not really knowing what to expect. And then when this happened, it was kind of an all hands on deck situation where you were kind of thrown in and immersed in this overwhelming case with all this surface area and all these things going on. So it was really overwhelming at the time.
And really emotional, I would guess, as well, correct?
Yeah, no, definitely. You're dealing with something that is sensitive enough on its own, but now you're dealing with things like religion and family intimacy and problems with belief, and then that really just amplifies it to a whole nother level.
Okay, so that was what it was like being in the District Attorney's Office. As far as, what you contributed to this book, when the author approached you, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was a story that needed to be told, although I wasn't necessarily excited about getting back into the subject matter because it was very dark and hard to deal with. I definitely felt like it was something that needed to be told and contributed to, because I was in a unique position. I was in the direct line of fire when it came to the evidence, and I was usually the first one to see it before it was presented to Investigator Katie or Mr. McNamara before we even got into it. So it was definitely something I felt like I had a unique position in, and definitely something I felt like needed to be told.
Did you feel there were a lot of challenges in the case, from your perspective being in the office?
Absolutely, because we received just a massive amount of evidence, digital, physical, and testimonial, where we needed to find a way to break this down and basically present it for a trial when it came to for Sarah Ferguson. And just the amount of video, the amount of diaries, and the amount of tracking that they had for all the stuff that they were maintaining, that was really the most difficult part.
Okay, and as far as your contribution to the book, what do you think that people will get from the book that maybe would give them a better understanding of this case? Because there were a lot of opinions on this case and a lot of emotion that went into it.
Well, I think I don't want to give too much away just because Ms. Ashline told me not to directly give anything out, but
sure.
One thing you're going to see is how far back the story came out, and the case was really just kind of the thing that blew the doors open on really a whole family's interaction and history, and it came to their beliefs and interaction with each other. So I think that's the thing people are going to be surprised the most about.
Okay, and we're not going to give too much away, like you said, because the book signing is tonight, and you'll be there as well.
Yes, I will.
All right, and there will be several other people there as well, so I want to thank you for joining us today. But yes, all these years later, Without a Prayer comes out from 6 until 8 tonight. Local author Susan Ashline, who wrote this book, will debut her first novel, Without a Prayer, The Death of Lucas Leonard and How One Church Became a Cult. Speaking tonight, the author herself, as well as Crystal Leonard, the victim's sister, Helen Learer, a former Word of Life cult member, Dave Cady, an investigator with the Oneida County District Attorney's Office, and Anthony Sokolowski, who you just heard from here, a former intern in the Oneida County District Attorney's Office. Also, Richard Dibble, the Anglican priest who attempted to deprogram defendant Bruce Leonard, the victim's father. They will take questions from the audience, and the book signing will follow. Thank you again for joining us today.